course, shops aren't working functioning properly either. People don't have their homes anymore. It's not surprising, and we've seen this in previous disasters, that people have resorted to breaking into shops and helping themselves.
Yes, as you say, understandable hearing the desperation in those people's voices. And so the fact that the tsunami was unexpected, Jonathan, presumably that meant that there were no warnings.
Well, there were warnings. There was actually, I'm not sure it would have made a big difference. There was a tsunami warning in place, and they lifted it after half an hour because the sensors that they have out in the sea off Sulawesi, they say only registered a relatively small rise in sea level. It was about the time they lifted the tsunami warning that the tsunami actually hit. So it's not clear to me that actually made a difference. You know, people, it's not, you know, if I think back of other disasters, and particularly the 2004 disaster in northern Indonesia and Aceh, which was, of course, wiped out vast numbers of people, you know, when you get a wall of water coming in that fast and that hard, there are always significant numbers of people who haven't been able to get out of the way. They are incredibly deadly. They come on a very broad front. And they hit with such power, they're full of rubble. It's very hard to survive if you're caught up in this awful churning water. The pictures, that's what we saw.
Yeah, and what sort of structures are we talking about in that part of the country?
Well, mostly the structures that have collapsed have collapsed because of the earthquake. So you've actually got one entire hotel, several stories high, which has collapsed in the centre of Palu, and a number of other buildings. And that's really what's so awful about this kind of disaster. It was a strong earthquake, very powerful shaking. A lot of buildings did collapse or were badly damaged. People were trapped underneath. And then this awful wave came through, and of course it's very hard to survive that. There are still survivors, they believe, in the hotel. The water may not have reached there, but because the town is so cut off, they can't get adequate heavy lifting equipment or even people with adequate expertise in to focus on that building. And there are a lot of other collapsed buildings in Palu. It's a very cut-off city right now. I mean, it's fair to say the government's doing everything it can. They're mobilizing a lot of resources. The hotel I'm in is absolutely chock full of Indonesian airmen who are flying helicopters in. They're bringing in heavy transport planes. But when you've got an airport that's badly damaged, it's just simply not and the road's blocked. It's not enough of a gateway to get in what people need.
Jonathan, thanks very much and good luck with your travels. Well, as Jonathan said, hard to get communication with the affected area. Just before we came on air, though, I did speak to Lian Gogali. She's in Poso, which is in central Sulawesi, about 200 kilometres away from Palu. She told me she still hadn't heard from her family who are in that city.
I'm still looking for my family, but for me, the important thing is also to help more people, to make sure that the people who are still alive now can survive, because some of the people still trapped in the building cannot evacuate after 3 days. For now, we really want to give them food and water, but also medicine, but also need help to evacuate them from the building.
And how are you personally trying to help them?
For now, we have emergency pods in Poso and Tentena, because Poso and Tentena is the closest way to go to Palu. Now, we collecting volunteers from all over Central Sulawesi, and then we drop the food there. And then we also have the emergency post in Palu. So tonight there is a emergency meeting in Palu to discuss about what should be done in next 24 hours, and we will follow up what can we do here together.
So you're volunteering, you're helping, you're bringing food and supplies, are you, at the same time as you are trying to look for your family members?
Yeah, I'm still looking for my family, my sister especially, but for me, I'm trying to be more positive that she will be fine. I think we cannot only stay and then wait. We need to do something together to help more people, not only my family, but more people, because there is still a lot of people now trapped in the building and they have no access for food. We are really worried that more people will die, not because of the earthquake, not because of the tsunami, but because they cannot survive. There is no food. They cannot evacuate from the building. There are 3 different people who going to Palu right now in Donggala. The first one is the volunteer who would like to help. They have no family, but they want to be a volunteer to help there. The other one is like they going to Palu to send donations and give some help. Third one is that the family who go to Palu only to pick up the family who already passed away in the because of the tsunami or earthquake. So there's it's really crowded right now because it's already 3 days, and then and today's night is already in evening, and then it's rain really hard in Palu, and then people still live in outside.
Are you traveling to Palu?
No, I'm still in Poso. I need to take care of the emergency post here. I need to organize more people. And then I believe that my friends, the team who I sent also there, can help to look for my sister and my family. So.
And what are you hearing? What are you hearing from your team?
About my family, there is still no news from them because the road to go to Donggala is breakdown, and then I hope that tomorrow will be there is a news.
When did you last speak to your sister?
During the earthquake.
During the earthquake. What did your sister say to you when you spoke to her?
Oh, they're already outside the building.
She was already outside the building.
Yeah.
So does that make you hopeful?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because not only my sister did, there is a lot my family, so yeah, for sure.
Liane Gogali in Poso there, who's waiting for news of her family members, but at the same time trying to help those who've been affected by the earthquake and tsunami. Well, it's been very difficult to get through to Palu itself. We did, though, manage to speak to Rafiq Anshori from the Indonesian Red Cross. The phone line was very poor, so we voiced up his answers.
The earthquake is still happening.
The aftershocks are still happening, and people are still worried about that. They're staying outdoors. They have limited food, limited water.
Limited food and water supplies.
Yes, yeah.
What about the actual physical situation? Are there people still trapped underneath buildings?
Yes, we only...
Yes, we're only evacuating the dead bodies to the beach. Until now, it's been impossible for us to evacuate people trapped inside buildings because we don't have enough necessary heavy equipment to do that here in Palu.
So what are you able to do?
We're running some services like health services. We're using mobile units. Tomorrow we plan to go directly to the nearby villages to run the health services and to distribute water with our water trucks. We're also running some shelters and hope to improve the situation.
In terms of getting around, though, getting to the villages, what are the challenges you face?
Because of the main road is...
The main road is broken, so we're not only using ambulance trucks, but motorcycles to get access to some villages.
What about the aftershocks? Are you still feeling them now?
Yes.
Yes, aftershocks are still happening today.
And does that mean it's just too dangerous to get to these buildings where people are still trapped?
Yes. Like for our team, for example, we're still using our building, but we're leaving the door open, and people are staying in front of the building. Some people are staying in tents.
And what about the buildings? What can you see? How much damage can you see?
It's around
Maybe around 60% of the buildings here are damaged.
And that was Rafiq Anshori of the Indonesian Red Cross speaking to me from the city of Palu. You're listening to the BBC World Service. This is News Hour, coming to you live from London with James Kimarasamy. Coming up in the programme, Britain's ruling Conservative Party is holding its annual conference in the city of Birmingham this week. Prime Minister Theresa May has defended her Brexit plan, known as the Chequers Plan, for a post-Brexit relationship between the EU and the UK.
I do believe in Brexit, but crucially I believe in delivering Brexit in a